Hey everybody, it's me, Timmy Flyersguy, and welcome to another edition of Classic Flyers Theater. I know that wasn't able to really post the Pelle Lindbergh video on the day he passed, but this is still the month that he passed away. So I decided to do a video, and this week's episode we're going to take you back to the 1985 Patrick Division Finals, Game 3 between the Philadelphia Flyers and the New York Islanders. This was the year that the Philadelphia after. This was the year. Fast forward Fast forward, and you go to that was the playoff season where they made the finals, beat Edmonton in one game, but were completely outmatched in the other games against the Edmonton Oilers. The Flyers had a pretty damn good season in 1984, 1985. But in late 1985, around November, Pelle Lindbergh tragically passed away from a car accident. Pelle Lindbergh was on life support, and unfortunately, Pelle Lindbergh's life officially ended as the Flyers lost a great goaltender in Pelle Lindbergh. Pelle Lindbergh will always be remembered as a man with a kind face, a kind smile, but also a fierce competitor on the ice. In this video, we're going to take you back to the 1985 Patrick Division Finals, Game 3 between the Philadelphia Flyers and the New York Islanders. I never met Pelle Lindbergh or even knew too much about Pelle Lindbergh, but I often go back and I research things about Pelle Lindbergh. And I also remember my dad telling me about Pelle Lindbergh and hearing about his passing on the Flyers VHS 25 years of pride and tradition VHS about Pelle Lindbergh's death. Honestly, I think the Flyers probably would have won 2 more Stanley Cups if Pelle Lindbergh didn't pass away on that fateful November 11th day in 1985. Pelle Lindbergh will always be remembered as one of the best Philadelphia Flyers goalies of all time. And I don't know if that was true, but he sure was on his way to being one of the greatest Philadelphia Flyers goalies of all time. It just sucks that we lost such a great goaltender. Pelle Lindbergh will always be remembered and will always stay in the hearts of many Philadelphia Flyers fans.
Stanley Cup playoffs on USA are brought to you by Ford and your Ford dealer. Have you driven a Ford lately? By Stroh's and Stroh-Lite, fire brewed for smoother taste. Stroh's, official sponsors of the National Hockey League. By Mobil Super Unleaded Gasoline, higher octane for better performance. By Thorough System Products, in the nick of time to help you repair and restore the concrete surfaces around your home. And by Emery Worldwide. For any size, any weight, and any value shipment anywhere in the world, call Emery, and it's as good as there. Good evening, everybody. I'm Al Troutwig in New York, and welcome to USA's coverage of the Patrick Division Finals. Tonight, Game 3 between the Islanders and the Flyers. One tradition we've spoken so frequently of on USA, other than the Islanders winning, is the Islanders' ability to come back in a game or a series in which most people have counted them out. They simply have done it over the past 5 years or so better than any other team in this league. But when Coca-Cola says they're going to change the formula for their soda, you know that no tradition is safe in American society. And right now, the Philadelphia Flyers seem to think along those lines. In games 1 and 2 of this series, they outplay the Islanders in every respect. In goaltending, in defense, shooting, and scoring, and perhaps even coaching. The Flyers lead this series 2-0, and the Islanders can't feel very confident coming into this Game 3, other than for 2 reasons. The fact that they're at home and they play well here, and the fact that they know that tradition of coming back from series that they should be losing is very, very evident. We'd like to introduce you to the men who'll be calling the game for us tonight on USA. Al Albert, his cohort will be Gary Green. They are nestled in the crowd here at the Nassau Coliseum, which once again is a sellout crowd. So tonight, Game 3 of the Patrick Division Finals, the Islanders need a complete turnaround. For them, they know they have to win 4 of the next 5 games of this series. Front row ticket for you once again on USA. Game 3 next.
They finished in first place, have a 2-0 advantage over the New York Islanders. One of 4 games going tonight in the playoffs. In the Smythe Division, Edmonton travels to Winnipeg, with the Oilers leading that series 2-0. In the Norris Division, Chicago now on the road in Minnesota. The North Stars split the first 2 games in the Chicago Stadium. And in the Adams Division, Montreal and Quebec, they are underway, all tied at 1 apiece in the series and in the first period. Each team has scored in the first period in Quebec. A busy night. All 8 teams going tonight in the Stanley Cup playoffs. And Al Albert, Gary Green, has been here before.
Well, that he has, and he has experienced this type of pressure. This is not the same as when they were down 2-0, however, in the initial series in this year's playoffs against the Washington Capitals. This is a 4 out of 7 series, and Mike Keenan, the coach of the Flyers, will tell you, you never count the New York Islanders out.
The Flyers are not overconfident. There are no doubts about the Islanders' resiliency. And for the Islanders, perhaps this season or this series may just be starting. In the last series, coming back from a 2-0 deficit to beat Washington in 5 games, first team to ever pull that off. And now they have fallen behind 2-0 again to the first place Flyers. But it's a different situation. Against Washington, the first 2 games were tight overtime games. Against Philadelphia, the Islanders have been beaten 3-0 and 5-2 against the Philadelphia Flyers. And now everybody's standing at the Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum. Joe Dewar makes his way out on the red carpet to the microphone, and we will have the singing of the national anthem as the 2 Patrick Division rivals get ready. The Flyers have been at the Nassau Coliseum in the playoffs going back to 1980 and the Stanley Cup Finals 6th game, in which Bobby Nystrom scored an overtime goal to give the Islanders the Stanley Cup title, their first one, beating the Flyers in 6 games. 14 Islanders returned from that lineup. Only 1 Flyer, Brian Propp. And Peter Zezel, the star rookie for the Flyers, was only 14 years old and playing midget hockey at the time. So they meet again. As the puck comes out to center ice, it is Doug Crossman, number 3, across to Brad Marsh. Plays it ahead to Ron Sutter, and he is crashed into the boards. Stefan Pearson with a big hit. The Flyers have been totally dominating the Islanders in the first 2 games. As the Islanders bust out, they feel they must strike quickly. And here is Gillies, puts on the brake, shoots, and a save by Lindbergh. Puntman in the slot, and the shot is smothered. And here come the Flyers busting out. A 2-on-1, which is diffused by the Islanders, but the long shot ricochets off the glass by Brown as the Islanders try to clear. They cannot. Ron Sutter is planted in the boards. Potvin is turned around by Dave Brown. Right in front, the shot hits the crossbar as Craven moved in as it hit off the post and got a piece of the crossbar on the way up. Bossy for the Islanders is hit by Ron Sutter as those 2 go at it. And now Bob Bourne comes over to shove Sutter as the Philadelphia Flyers trying to annoy Bossy early. Here is Boudelier, who puts it into the corner. Chasing forward is Nystrom. Nystrom along with Howe, and Mark Howe clearing it for Philadelphia. The Flyers on the fly. The shot goes wide. Pass of Smith. McCrimmon behind the net as Morrow plays it on the right wing to Nystrom. Nystrom with Trottier. Here's Trottier. Stick handling over the line. And he puts it into the zone. The Islanders really came out storming in game number 2, but were stopped cold by Lindbergh, and it gave the Flyers a chance to then move in front. And the Islanders have stormed out here in the first 2 minutes of play. Mark Howe, who is teamed up with Brad McCrimmon. Pass ahead to Sinisalo, and Billy Smith leaves it. And it gets caught in his glove, so he'll hold on to the puck, and we'll have a face-off in the Islanders zone.
Billy Smith did not play all that well in the last game against the Philadelphia Flyers. He almost looked a little bit tired. He was going down a lot on the shots, and the goals that were scored against him, he was down on those shots. Now, we have seen a couple of opportunities in tonight's game, but they've been held by the Philadelphia Flyers. This one by Murray Craven. He just got off a great shot there. It hit the post. You could see that Ron Sutter was on the ice at the time. He was giving Bossy a real hard time.
Gary, the Islanders say they've lost the first 2 games. Still, the Washington series taking its toll, and Philadelphia is the best home team in the NHL anyway. They've lost only 4 games. Islanders feel they have to win just 1 game there, and now they have the Flyers on their home ice.
Now, what's really important for the Islanders tonight is that they want to get things going and make life a little bit difficult for the Flyers, and also to get the Flyers thinking they have to have a really good first period whereby they control and they get a lot of forechecking, some good body checks.
Brent Sutter, number 21, on the right side to his brother Dwayne. On the line with John Tonelli, number 27, digging after it. And his punch and check against Erickson. As it comes out to center, Pearson drills it in. He still had 3 of his teammates in the Philadelphia zone. For our local systems, we'll pause now. USA Sports is bringing you the games, and here is Tonelli kicking it away. And it comes all the way back to Potvin. No score, first 3 minutes. The Islanders once again back in a corner, this time against the Flyers, who rule the NHL with the best record this year. It is Pearson for New York. Rounds the net, takes a look, and plays it ahead. The steal by Propp. Propp with the backhand, and Smith easily grabs that one. Propp, who had a hat trick in game number 2 on Sunday to lead the Flyers to their 2nd straight win over the Islanders in this playoff series. Actually, going back to the regular season, the Flyers have now won 5 in a row against the Islanders. Tomas Janssen back for New York. He's been out the last couple of games with a rib injury as Bossy lets one fly, and it's taken off the boards by Dave Brown. Gordon back for the Islanders. And the pass ahead to Bossy. Bossy shoots it in, and the Islanders chase after it. Lindbergh has been getting sensational help from his teammates in front. Not only the defensemen, but the forwards coming back. The puck is lodged underneath. This is Krushman, number 3, goes between 2 Islanders and shoots it to center.
Well, John Tonelli complained that he couldn't really get in good position. That has a lot to do with the way that the Flyers play in their own end zone. Excellent defensive, disciplined team.
Bourne tying it up there with Marsh. Now big Dave Brown steps in, and he makes sure it doesn't get any further from that corner.
Well, as you look at Brad Marsh, he's one of the few on this team that has really got some good playoff experience. The Flyers are a relatively young hockey club with very little playoff experience, and that's why I'm sure the Islanders were talking before the game that they have to get a good start in this building. It will get a lot of the Flyers who have already heard so much about the fact that, look, this Islander team has the abilities to come back. Even the Flyer players were saying, we can't count on anything. We know what a good, strong hockey club the New York Islanders are. So, in fact, get on them early, and you may get some of the Flyers wondering as to whether or not here come the Islanders again.
LaFontaine, number 16 for the Islanders. Ron Sutter, number 14 for the Flyers. And Brad McCrimmon where the Flyers picked up several years ago in return for Pete Peters. And here is Nystrom back the other way. He scored the last goal in this building in the playoffs against the Flyers. The overtime goal that won the Islanders their first Stanley Cup. And here are the Flyers back the other way. Mark Howe, long shot. Smith has problems with it. McCrimmon, he slaps it in, and Smith got a piece of that one. Comes all the way out. Ron Sutter almost run down by Nystrom. Now it is LaFontaine who takes a run at Sutter. And the puck goes into the Islander bench, and we will have a face-off. Ron Sutter doing an excellent job defensively. Now he goes up against LaFontaine.
Needs to have a couple of hits, get going out there. He can be a key factor for the Islanders in making a comeback. He has not played all that well this season. He has had a lot of reasons why, including a bout with mono. But I think in this playoffs so far, he has not really had much ice time. He sat out, in fact. And so tonight, whatever ice time LaFontaine gets, he's really got to get skating.
Another shot, and the saves by Lindbergh. It's still loose. Alan Kerr, number 10, along with Roger Kortko, 11, two Islander rookies. And the crowd responds as Joe Patterson, number 28, getting in the middle, and Pelle Lindbergh once again, a couple of fine saves. Early in the first period in game number 2, the Islanders blistered Lindbergh for 12 shots in the first 12 minutes. None got by him. Meanwhile, the Flyers had 4 shots on Billy Smith and scored 2 goals. And that was the game right there early in game number 2.
You're looking at number 11, Roger Kortko, for the New York Islanders. He has been a man that has received a lot of ice time for the Islanders in playoffs. He's developed into a fine center iceman, the real grinding type. He's not afraid of anyone. He goes into those corners. He follows along the lines of a Trottier, and I'm not about to say that Kortko is that good when I'm making reference to a Trottier, but he plays the same type of grinding game at center ice.
And there he is, grinding into the corner. Caller is bumped by Ron Sutter, who's been using the body very well. Marsh turned around. Crossman comes in. And it is cleared out. The Flyers, Gary, the Flyers haven't had a sustained offense yet, and we have played 5.5 minutes of this first period.
Well, now the faceoff comes back in.
All right, the faceoff now to the left of Lindbergh. Comes out to the point. Dineen the shot. Save. Rebound. It is missed by Alan Kerr. Long pass to Tocchet. Tocchet racing with Janssen. The back pass to Ron Sutter. And here come the Islanders, the young line. 3-on-2 led by Kortko. Kortko to Caller. Caller turns, puts it in front, and scores!
Number 11, Roger Kortko, gives the pass to Caller. Watch Caller. Number 28 has the puck in the corner. He just throws it towards the net. No position to score, but yet that puck goes off of Pelle Lindbergh's skate and right into the net. His pad, his skate, I guess it was more of his pad, but it bounced right off and behind him. A bad goal scored on the Flyers.
Not only do the Islanders need that first goal, but certainly a goal like that for confidence psychologically to show them that Pelle Lindbergh is not flawless. Haller gets his second playoff goal. Kortko the assist at 5:58. And the Islanders have jumped in front 1-0.
Ticking, as does Marsh. 6:07 is the time.
As Sutter's sitting in the box looking over at Marsh. Not dressed for the Flyers tonight, Dave Poulin. They are missing their captain. He's been out the last 3 games because of a sprained left knee. He is sorely missed. Not only a 30-goal scorer, but he has really taken the role of Bobby Clark on the ice. Really the leader, inspiration on the ice for the Flyers. But the Flyers have been able to do it without him in the first 2 games.
Well, Bob Clark said, look, if we were down 2-0, we might utilize him.
Here's a steal by Sinisalo. Goes in for the backhand, and Billy Smith gets a piece of that one. Potvin behind his net. Craven rushing in. And here's Potvin putting it on the stick of Trache. Islanders with Trache and Bossy. Bossy ahead to Trache. He's looking for Potvin, cutting in front. Can't get the pass off as Markel makes the nice play to take it away. Islanders lead it 1-0 on a goal by Anders Keller. A fluke that dribbled off the pad or the skate of Pelle Lindbergh and in the goal. Trache starting it up again, and he is upended by McCrimmon. As the puck is sent back to center ice, Brad McCrimmon onto the stick of Sutter. Sutter crisscrossing, gets a screen from Prop. The shot, and it's way wide. Long pass out for Boudelier. The defenseman is on the attack with two Flyers waiting for him at the blue line, so he decides to circle back. And Ken Morrow is the Rock of Gibraltar for the Islanders, and an offside is called as Islanders go in. 31 seconds to go on the dual penalties. There's the goal scorer. Goal against the Flyers in this series. 1-0, the Islanders lead. This is the 8th time in playoff history that they have fallen behind 2-0. On 4 occasions, they have come back to win the series. The Islanders offside once again. Just 14 seconds to go in the dual penalties. Tim Kerr, 7 goals in the playoffs, second to Michel Goulet, who has 8 for Quebec.
Well, what more can you say about Kerr? He is a much talked about player in the NHL this season. 54
this season, over 100 points, but unable to get cranked up during the playoffs. Markel flying for the Flyers, and it is poke checked away by Janssen. Ahead it goes to Sutter with Tonelli on the left wing, his brother Dwayne on the right. Back pass to Dineen. Dineen puts it right in front, and it is cleared. Now the Flyers with a break. The Flyers with great speed, taking advantage of that against the Islanders. 25 is Peter Zezel for the Flyers, and it's an offside called against Philadelphia. For our local systems, we will pause now. It's the National Hockey League Stanley Cup playoffs. Recently brought back up. Here is Kerr stealing with Courtgo in front. Kerr behind the back for Keller, and it is swept away by Philadelphia as McCrimmon takes it to center ice, and now we have a whistle. Dual penalties again coming up. It is Alan Kerr, number 10, along with Todd Bergen, 19. Number 24, Derek Smith for the Flyers, steps right in the way, and it is Kerr.
Meanwhile, Bergen picks it up for slashing.
So we've had 4 penalties tonight, but both the dual versions, so neither team has had a power play. Bourne bears down on Marsh. And it's cleared to center. Some of the speed of Prop trying to turn it on. Does a 360 to get away from Morrow, and another 360 to move it into the corner. As Ron Sutter unable to hold on. Crossman, number 3 for the Flyers, sends it deeper, and now we have a penalty coming up against the Islanders. So the Flyers will have a power play as Paul Boudelier is whistled off by referee Ron Wicks.
Boudelier going to the penalty box. I believe it's for interference. He went into the corner against Ron Sutter, number 14 for the Philadelphia Flyers, and ended up coming out of that corner with a penalty.
This is the 11th power play for the Flyers against the Islanders. They have scored just once.
Well, as you look at Mike Keenan once again from behind that bench, Boudelier going to the penalty box. Boudelier received a penalty in playoffs this past series that he won't forget. That was the famous penalty whereby he took the net off of its posts and ended up giving Bobby Carpenter a penalty shot for the Washington Capitals. Of course, Billy Smith came up with the big save and bailed the young defenseman for the Islanders out.
Number 12 on the ice for the Flyers. The Islanders will be watching him closely. Tim Kerr. He led the NHL with 21 power play goals. 3 of his 7 goals in the playoffs on the power play. Here is Crossman moving in. He is hawked by Trache. We have another penalty. This is against Kerr, who goes right at Morrow. Kerr taking exception to Morrow trying to move him out of the way, but Ron Wicks saw the second shot by Kerr trying to get back. That's how we surmised this happened.
I just assume, though, that Ron Wicks will also be sending Morrow to the penalty box, because Whether or not he saw it, I'm sure he did see Kerr flatten his back, taking the net right off its post. And he didn't do that all by himself by any means. And in fact, Morrow is definitely going to the penalty box, getting a little crowded in there.
Morrow with no complaints. Now Kerr remains on there. It is only a penalty to Morrow. So apparently Wick saw the whole thing. Kerr has had a beef with the officials this season because he feels he's being held, dragged to the ice, everything to move that big body away. And Wick's now explaining it to Captain Dennis Potvin.
Well, without having the benefit of seeing that again on the replay, from the piece that I saw, I think that's a good call on Wick's part.
So Morrow sits in the box for 2 minutes. Boudelier has 1:38 to go. Al Arbour getting his words in, saying what happened about Kerr's hit.
Obviously, from Al's point of view, that wasn't a good penalty. The fact that Wicks did not send Kerr. Well, we'll get a chance to see that possibly on a replay. No, we're not going to be able to see it because, well, it was not where the puck was, to be quite obvious.
Well, it was off camera, the penalty, but obviously not out of the viewing range of referee Ron Wicks. So the Flyers now with the one-man advantage. 4-on-3 with all the congestion in the penalty box. They don't get the two-man advantage right now because of that initial dual penalty. Here is Crossman, rifles it wide. Sinisalo. And it is Mark Howe taking it off the boards. Pearson on him, and Howe gets away. Crossman moves in, he shoots. Glove save by Smith.
Well, that's a very key save for Billy Smith. It's a big one. If anything will get a goaltender going, it's making a big save, especially on a 4-on-3. There you can see it. Number 3, Crossman walked right into the slot, let go with a shot that he thought was going to beat Smith. Smith comes up with a big glove save. The adrenaline is flowing now for sure.
And dueling goalies tonight. Even a bigger save after Lindbergh let a bad goal in. 43 seconds to go, and the dual penalties to Courtgo and Bergen. Montreal and Quebec, first period, 2-2. It is a wild series. The battle for Quebec. Pearson comes out, a 2-on-1 for the Islanders. Pearson with Brent Sutter. Pearson shoots. Lindbergh makes the save. A little shaky on that, but he had a 2-on-1. He was watching two players. Howe, lead pass offside, goes Sinisalo. The crowd responds as they feel in the first 10.5 minutes. The breaks go 3 seconds on the dual penalties, and the Flyers will have a two-man advantage for about 26 seconds. Morrow's 2-minute penalty will not start until the dual penalties are over. Here is Crossman closing in again, and it's blocked in front by Potvin. Crossman almost loses at the point. It is Brian Propp circling. He has room. Into the corner he goes. The Flyers now with a two-man advantage for 20 seconds. Bergen out of the penalty box to Crossman. Back to Bergen. He winds, goes cross ice. Bergen fires, stick saved, and they score on the rebound. The crowd in front. Crossman, again, the Flyers, as they've been doing all series, sending a defenseman in, and they tie it up.
Number 3, Doug Crossman in front of the net, but it was big number 19 for the Flyers, Todd Bergen, who has an excellent shot, maybe the hardest on the Philadelphia Flyers. He let it go. Now the puck comes back out on the rebound, and you could see just off to the top left of your screen, that was, in fact, number 3, Doug Crossman. There you get a better look at it. Smith got a piece of that puck, but then it went off his glove right up top.
Up top, and then it bounced down, perhaps off his helmet and in. So Crossman gets the goal, his second of the playoffs, and important for the Flyers, it came with 10 seconds left on Boudelier's penalty. So that means Morrow is still in the penalty box for another minute and a half, and the Flyers have tied it up, and they still have an advantage, this one-man advantage over the Islanders. Markow goes in, and it's flipped back the other way by Gordini. Bergen and Howe get the assists. 11-12 the time. The power play goal by Crossman to knot the score at 1. Peter Zessel flips it on the stick of Kerr. Zessel, who has that feathery touch.
Smith broke his stick there.
Goaltender, the only player who could use a broken stick. Here's Crossman again. And this one deflects high into the crowd and gives a chance for Smith to get a new stick.
Well, I don't know how he broke that stick initially, but he only had a piece of it, and he was able to take a crack at Peter Zessel, number 25, coming across the crease after the whistle had gone.
With the broken stick. Now that is the reason that a regular player skater has to drop the stick as soon as it breaks.
Well, if Ron Wicks would get out of the way here, we'd be able to see exactly Billy Smith and how he broke that stick. There you see, laying on the ice, the biggest part of Billy Smith's goal stick.
55 seconds to go in the power play. Todd Bergen, who was called up later in the season, played 14 games, delivered 11 goals and 5 assists. And he's the second leading scorer for the Flyers in the playoffs with 8 points. 7 minutes, 45 seconds to go in this first period. All knotted up at 1 apiece. This is the closest the Islanders have been to the Flyers this late in a game in this series. Realize coming into this game, the Flyers have had a tougher time against the New York Rangers in that first series than they have against the Islanders.
Well, this man plans on giving them a tough time in the 2 games here at home. Dennis Potvin. Potvin really played well in the Washington series. He took charge back in the blue line. He just appeared as though he had just started in this league, the way that he was skating and moving the puck and thinking. Really appeared to be rejuvenated. And believe me, the Islanders, they got a lot of leadership from Potvin and Trottier especially. And of course, Billy Smith between the pipes.
This is Tonelli one-on-one with Markow. Tonelli goes to the backhand, wheels around for the shot. Potvin. The Islanders down a man, but digging now in the Flyer zone. Markow tripped up. There's Tonelli banging for the puck at the side of the net. Really tying up the Flyers. 10 seconds to go, and the penalty to Morrow. Tonelli and Brent Sutter doing the job, but busting out now is Prop. He has Kerr. Prop goes to the boards. Drops it back to himself, as it turns out. Intercepted by Sutter. Morrow is out of the box, but we have another penalty coming up against the Islanders. Out of the fire and back into the frying pan. You're watching the Stanley Cup play. 4 minutes or so. Boudelier bumps his man. And it is cleared out by Bourne. Markow chases after it. Corco chases after Howe. Stolen by Bourne, but Howe runs into him. Morrow shoots it down. 1-1 the score. The Islanders and the Flyers, game number 3 of the Patrick Division Finals. Flyers won the first 2 games in Philadelphia. Todd Bergen, rangy as he brings it over the line. There's that bullet shot, kicked out, rebound by Dvorak, and that one goes wide. Again, you see the Flyers defensemen going in deep. They have such great speed that their wingers on the transition game are able to take chances and let their defensemen take chances and get back. Especially now on the power play. And Trottier clears it down. 1 minute gone by, and the penalty to John Tonelli. Dvorak comes out, the veteran from Czechoslovakia. Zessel, the rookie, turned around. Bossy right on him. And also the Islanders playing a man down so much, they haven't been able to get their line with Bossy. If anybody was wondering about a letdown on the Flyers' part after winning the first 2 games, Flyers let the Washington Capitals be their lesson. So what the Islanders did in the first series may work to their disadvantage, with the Flyers certainly knowing about the resiliency of New York. Markow goes cross ice, setting it up. As Bergen brings it out, here is Prop. Prop makes a beautiful move. McCrimmon into the corner. Cross ice, it goes to Howe. Closes in for the shot, and it deflects wide. 20 seconds left in the power play. Craven right in front, and Pearson breaks that one up. 10 seconds left in the power play, and the crowd responds. The Islanders and the Flyers hooked up in a 1-1 tie. Janssen for New York, and he rolls it in. The penalty is up, and for the first time in around 5-6 minutes now, the Islanders are skating even with the Flyers. Here's Corco, puts it in front, and Murray Craven. An Islander was dumped, Alan Kerr. Ron Wicks did not see that one, so the crowd getting on the referee. An icing call against the Philadelphia Flyers. For our local systems, we pause now. USA Sports is bringing you the...
Frustrated by the number of penalties they've taken. There you can see number 2, Mark Howe. Trottier and Boudelier sandwiched Howe pretty good. He went down, though, didn't retaliate. Of course not. Right now, the Flyers have the advantage of the power play. I mentioned before that Keenan won't be upset by all these penalties, not only just because the majority of them have given his team the power play opportunity, but also anything that disrupts the Islanders' opportunities to get something going in a 5-man attack, their cohesiveness together. That is definitely to the Flyers' advantage.
Kerr is in front, but Pearson breaks it up. Gary, when's the last time you remember Bossy being on the ice in a regular shift?
Well, it was right at the very start of this period, and that was a short one at that. That was when Ron Sutter was giving Bossy a lot of problems. This won't help Bossy's game the least bit. Bossy has not scored in this series, has had a tough time getting going. The only way a Bossy or Gretzky or any of the great scorers in this league can get going is to get a lot of ice time out.
Realize in the 2 games that Ed Hospodar has more goals than Bossy, Trottier, Brent Sutter, and Tonelli combined. He has 1. A minute to go in the penalty. 3 minutes left in the first period. Tied at 1 apiece. McCrimmon is stopped by Potvin, and now Brent Sutter winds it around the glass, and it comes all the way out. Peter Zessel comes in to Kerr. That wrist shot on the screen. It wasn't on goal. On goal, it may have gone in. Smith had no idea it was coming his way. Trottier, 19, pokes at it. And now we have a whistle. And we will have a face-off in the Islander zone. Stefan Pearson, the veteran defenseman, as the Islanders have their defensive core intact. This has been the best shape the Islanders have been in the playoffs against Washington. Most of their players returning. Only Greg Gilbert with a knee injury is out. Billy Smith, who has played in 128 playoff games, has won 88 of those. Imagine that, 128 playoff games. That's like 2 full seasons every game, playoff pressure, and he has a 2.71 goal average. The Islanders also without Pat Flatley, who broke his knuckle in the left hand. And Flatley will be joining Al Trotwood in between the second and third period to talk a little bit about it. Express his frustration for not being on the ice. Here is Sinisalo. He walks right in. Save made by Smith with 7 seconds left in the penalty to the Islanders. And Keller brings it out, gives to Trottier, who winds it back in. The team's again at equal strength. 2 minutes to go in the period. Here is Bossy on the ice along with Keller and Trottier. The lead pass, Sinisalo leaves it for Bergen. That shot, Smith now leaves it behind the net. So Billy Smith has come up with 2 clear goal-saving saves, and Smith now complaining that he was knocked down by Bergen. Down to 1 minute 40 seconds left in this first period. Keller wheels away from Ron Sutter. And it's Dineen. He has Bossy in the slot. Stolen by Sutter. Janssen is back. Tocchet hustling on the right wing. The setup to Tocchet. He goes in and scores. The trailer was Tocchet, beating the Islanders back. And a beautiful setup. And with 1:16 to go, the Islanders have fought off several Flyer power plays. It is Tocchet scoring at regular strength. Final minute of play in this first period. Here is Janssen, 3-on-2. Bossy getting ready, pulls the trigger, blocked by the defense. Tonelli, he has Sutter in front. His shot, saved by Lindbergh as he makes his best save, point blank of the night. Fosse. And it is Tonelli with control. He shoots it off the leg. Tonelli back to the point. Janssen with 30 seconds left. In front, blocked by the defense. Again, the wall in front of Pelle Lindbergh. Now with 20 seconds left, it's Philadelphia. Ron Sutter certainly taking a big role as Sutter is now tangled up with Janssen. And very quickly, Ron Finn gets between the two. Sutter obviously sent something, and Janssen is irate. And look who is now dueling with Ron Sutter, his brother, Brent Sutter. I don't know if they'll come to blows, but they certainly exchange words. It's not as if they haven't before. Brothers fooling around in the backyard playing. Now Carson and Tonelli let go of one another. Ron Sutter will now be leaving with 18 seconds left. Certainly interesting possibilities with Dwayne and Brent Sutter on the Islanders, Ron Sutter on Philadelphia. See Ron trying to get by and obviously getting a glove in there on Janssen, who returned the favor. The linesman in there very quickly, and then, oh, there it was, the stick by Ron Sutter. Not a couple of words. And you could understand why Janssen took exception to that. No call for that. Ron Sutter getting the stick in, jabbing it to the stomach of Janssen. And will await the penalties. A question of whether Ron Wicks could see that. Potvin is explaining to him if he had not. And McCrimmon, as the Flyers right now prepared to take the one-goal lead into the locker room after one. Happy about it after falling behind 1-0 on a fluke goal by the Islanders. 2 seconds, one. And that is it. The end of the first period for 4 minutes. Both the combination roughing and slashing with just 18 seconds to go in the first period. Things getting kind of ugly as Ron Sutter using the stick. But the fans here very upset that the referee Ron Wicks did not pick that up. So the Islanders come out here in the second period trailing by 1 goal. Murray Craven is knocked to the ice. Tonelli winds it around the boards to Pearson. And now the Islanders come back looking for the equalizer. Potvin slides it in on Lindbergh. Potvin goes after it. Now Marsh, number 8, along with Tonelli, they bump right in front, and it's cleared by Crossman. Crossman, who has scored a goal, also was stopped on a great save by Billy Smith on a point-blank shot. Ilka Sinisalo, and he is squeezed along the boards by number 21, Brent Sutter. And we'll have a face-off in the Islanders lined it out the way they do so well. They know exactly how they won 4 straight Stanley Cups. The Flyers, though, have been the mirror image of the Islanders and beating them at their own game. It is McCrimmon right on goal, and Smith freezes it. And we'll have a face-off again in the Islanders' zone.
I mentioned about the season that Brad McCrimmon has had. McCrimmon, as Mike Keenan, the Flyer coach, said, has played so well this year. A lot of it has to do with the fact that he was in excellent condition. There you can see Billy Smith making a very easy glove save. But Keenan talked about McCrimmon's excellent conditioning coming into training camp. Got his weight down.
Mark Howe, number 2, slides it around the boards for Big Tim Kerr. He is bodied, though, as the Islanders trying to get it out of their zone. Kenny Morrow, coming off knee surgery, hits the red line and is turned around by Brian Propp. And there is McCrimmon winding in his own zone. Across to Mark Howe. Howe ahead to Propp at the blue line. He flips it in for Kerr. Howe goes into the corner. Now he comes right in front. Sets up the backhand. It just dribbles wide. As it was Tim Kerr bottling up the defense and screening Billy Smith at the same time. Fosse, who's been held in check. He knocks Kerr down to the ice right in front of Ron Wicks. Here is Morrow with a shot. And the stick save made by Lindbergh. It is Boudelier across to Morrow. Morrow shoots it in front. Save, rebound, backhand. Trotze cannot get it over Lindbergh. The whole net yawning in front of Brian Trotze, but he could not lift the puck.
Well, that's got to be frustrating for the Islanders, and especially for Brian Trotze, number 19 of the Islanders. It was his opportunity to get going in this series. There you can see Lindbergh. He made the initial save. The puck came way out. There's that whole net available for Trottier. He just could not get that puck up and over Lindbergh.
In game number 2, Sunday in Philadelphia, the Islanders had many shots, 12 on net against Lindbergh, actually 14 in that first period. But Lindbergh frustrating them, and the Islanders felt all the missed opportunities in that first period, and they were through. And right now it's Lindbergh frustrating the Islanders again.
Mike Keenan, I think, had some hard words for his hockey club at the end of the first period. I can only guess it was because of the number of power play opportunities that they had. They did not put the Islanders down as they should have.
Here's Dineen, and it's blocked by Marsh. Dineen hits LaFontaine from behind, and the Islanders skate. Interesting to see the Sutter brothers mouthing off at one another. Ron Sutter and his brother Brent at the end of that first period. Neither of them, though, dropped the gloves. Here is Morrow almost splitting the defense, and now he goes in and chases after it. It is Morrow losing it. Now Morrow has to go the length of the ice while the Flyers break out 3-on-2. Sinisalo, back to Sinisalo. He puts it in front. Mark Howe. Sinisalo tied up by Boudelier. Counter goes in, and there is tied it up against Winnipeg in Winnipeg in the first period. The Oilers leading that series 2-0 as the scene is shifted to Winnipeg. Right here, the Islanders trailing the Flyers 2-0. Not an unfamiliar position for the Islanders, but right here, many asking the question, how many times can you go to the well? Brent Sutter, he has Potvin all alone. Potvin shoots, saved by Lindbergh. As Potvin unable to get off the shot. He got the puck caught in the skates, and he knew there was a Flyer bearing down on him.
Even still, at close range, Potvin got a heck of a shot away. I think Lindbergh just caught a bit of that on his right shoulder, possibly. There you could see, as Al was mentioning, Potvin kind of lost that puck in his skates, but yet Lindbergh making the save. There is excellent camera angle. You could see that puck in Potvin's gate, and Lindbergh very quick.
Here is Gordonine on the screen. Where is it? It's behind Lindbergh as the Flyers pouncing on it and clearing it as Sutter out of the penalty box brings it out. So some tough moments for Lindbergh. Here's Sutter in front, and he scores! Ron Sutter rubs it in. Out roughing and slashing at the end of the first period. Sutter the goal from Craven at 3:58. And the Flyers have now taken a 2-goal lead. Sutter with a goal and an assist in this game. 15 minutes, 45 seconds to go in the second period. And the Islanders really digging themselves a hole. Clark Gillies, he is bumped. The Flyers are swarming. Lindsey Carson, a rifle shot, and Smith puts it into the crowd. Have finished in 4th place this year, or rather a 3rd place this year. Their lowest finish since their 2nd season of existence. 27 points behind the Flyers, but with all the confidence in the world coming off the great comeback against Washington. But physically, that Washington series may have taken its toll on the Islanders. Here is Bourne behind the net. Trottier with his teammate Dwayne Sutter, and Lindbergh steers it aside. Pearson, cross ice, the shot for Potvin. He fires, and Lindbergh covers it up. There must have been 6 players in front of him.
I don't know how he ever saw that puck,
or how it even got through. And now Dwayne Sutter is decked, and he is going after Brad McCrimmon, and you see a cut open underneath the eye of Dwayne Sutter, and he'll take anybody on. That happened to be Joe Patterson was in his way. Patterson gets in a couple of uppercuts.
Well, you were exactly right. Dwayne Sutter was so upset that it didn't matter who he fought. He just wanted to release some tension. Patterson was the man there. That was good enough for Dwayne Sutter. He would go at him.
But if a penalty had been called on the Flyers, it could be a 5-minute major for drawing blood on Van. Ahead to Gillies, waiting at the blue line. He is disturbed by Kropp. A 2-on-0, a man down.
Not a bad strategy by Brent Sutter right off the faceoff. He gives his younger brother a little problems there. That's got to get Ron thinking about the draw. And Brent just winning up, sending it back to Stephen Pearson. Pearson just blasting away. Great shot, beating Lindbergh. But again, the key to that goal, Brent Sutter on the faceoff. I think he just pulled a little trick on his young brother Ron.
And how the Islanders needed that one. They had to come back quickly after Pop's shorthanded goal. And they still have a man advantage for a minute and 33. 4-2, the Flyers lead, and it brings the crowd alive here at the Nassau Coliseum. And they give the goal to Brent Sutter on the tip in front. Gets his third. He should get an assist on his own goal. He got it back to Pearson. Pearson will get the assist. So with 11 minutes and 10 seconds now to go here, the Islanders again, man advantage. Brent Sutter to Bossy. Bossy drops it back, but it's intercepted. And the Flyers bring it back. The long shot steered away by Smith. They give Bossy also an assist on that goal. 8:39 is the time. And the crowd now trying to encourage the Islanders to pull to within one. Bossy along the boards leaves it to Brent Sutter. Loses to Sinisalo. And Ilka Sinisalo wastes no time there as he lets it roll all the way down the ice. 45 seconds to go in the power play. It appears as if McCrimmon has been in that penalty box for days. Here is Trache angling in. Bossy, he turns, he fires, kick save by Lindbergh. A beauty by Lindbergh to foil Mike Bossy. Bossy digging in, and the Flyers busting out. They have a 3-on-2. It is Prop with Ron Sutter. Two thorns in the side of the Islanders. Prop right in front as Sutter is knocked to the ice. Again, he matches up with Janssen. 15 seconds on the power play. Bossy storming in. Lindbergh sweeps it around. Comes back to the point, but there is Ron Sutter.
I'll tell you, young Ron Sutter has been a real force for the Flyers tonight. He has done everything for them.
Except win that faceoff from his brother. All right, McCrimmon is back on, so the 5 minutes are gone, and the teams neutralize one another. Philly scorers have 22 of them. The Flyers have scored their 4 goals on 11 shots. Howe brings it in. But that's one thing Billy Smith was talking about with all the rebounds he's been leaving in front is because Philadelphia's shots have been good ones. And his first priority is to make the save as opposed to put that rebound in the corner. He just doesn't have time to do it.
Well, the Flyers have got some guys that can shoot the puck. That's been quite obvious, and this man here is no exception. Mark Howe, maybe one of the finest wrist shots in the National Hockey League. He's got tremendous hands. He is good with the puck close in. But when he winds up, it's not usually for a slap shot. It is usually for a wrist shot.
Anders Kallert. Right in front, there was Nystrom, but he was tied up from behind and he could not get that stick down. Paul Boudelier for the Islanders across to Morrow. But again, it's the Flyers swarming. You would swear they're not 5 skaters, but 6 or 7 on the ice for the Flyers right now. McCrimmon back on the ice. Lead pass. The shot is kicked away by Smith as Dave Brown came in on the right wing. Busting out is Kallert. Can't split the defense. Howe comes back. And a whistle now. Dave Brown for the Flyers pushing with Paul with his Islanders either. He's been held to just 1 assist in his 6 playoff appearances. Being benched 1 game against Washington. Wayne Sutter. This is Janssen. He fires and that one goes wide. Islanders putting that puck on net. Here is Wayne Sutter. Oh, just wide on the screen. And Philadelphia busts back. Philadelphia making good on their few opportunities. Prop, a magician with the puck. Right in front. And it slides through off of Smith. Crossman behind the net as Gillies knocks Craven to the ice. It's the penalty.
Brown's getting the penalty, but meanwhile, Murray Craven is leaving, and he is cut. And the Flyers wanted to make sure that Ron Wicks knew about that. That happened over in the Islanders' corner. But it is Brown that is being penalized for the Flyers.
Goes off for roughing at 12:20. And so the Islanders have a man advantage again.
Well, there you can see who, in fact, Brown was trying to get at. It was none other than number 12 for the Islanders, Wayne Sutter. Sutter may have provoked that just through a little verbal exchange of words. But it was over in the far corner that Murray Craven really got roughed up, taken into the boards heavily. And he has left the game.
Sutter just ducking, getting out of the way, knowing he brought on a two-man advantage for his team. Islanders have 15 shots on Pelle Lindbergh in this second period, but have scored but once.
Harbour knows that it's very important for his team to win in this game tonight, because they do not want to give this Philadelphia team, who lacks some playoff experience, that life of knowing that they can win in this building against them in playoffs.
So the Islanders, with a one-man advantage, go in. It is Bossy. Right in front, Brent Sutter. Saved by Lindbergh. Some of the Islanders, this Olympic team, and when you've played in international play, every game you face elimination. So he knows what the heat feels like. Brent Sutter facing off number 21. Tonelli, 27 for the Islanders. Looking back to his point. But the Islanders have to regroup. 30 seconds gone by, and the penalty to Dave Brown. Revving it up is Dennis Potvin. Potvin goes in deep to Bossy. Quickly in front. Blocked by the defense. Howe. Bossy right in front. Fans on the pass. And a possible break for Philadelphia, but Pearson is back to stop Sinisalo. Potvin winding up now in his own zone. A minute to go on the Islander power play. They need a goal to pull to within one, and that could just about do it, but Flyers give it away. Here is Johnson. Quickly heads up ice again. Trache waiting. Broken up by Marsh. And the penalty is over. The team's at equal strength, so the Islanders unable to take advantage.
Zezel and Prop doing an excellent job for the Flyers up front. They're both persistent forecheckers. They just never stop trying.
Johnson cuts away from Derek Smith. And it's cleared all the way down to the Islander blue line. Potvin back the other way, and there's McCrimmon with Haller forechecking. 5 minutes, 10 seconds left in period 2. Flyers 4 and the Islanders 2. Bobby Nystrom, the veteran, Mr. Clutch. Kaller winding. Kortko back to Kaller. He shoots. Great save by Lindbergh. A bang-bang play. And Lindbergh was there once again. Here come the Islanders busting out. 3-on-2. Kortko along with Kaller. Kortko looking for Kaller in front, but unable to get the puck out there. Now he does to Nystrom. He is tied up and knocked down by Bergen. And now Philadelphia comes back, floating it in as they make a line change with 4.5 minutes left in the second period. The long pass to Nystrom. Seconds to go in the second period. Here the Islanders buzzing in again. Gillies plays it into the corner for Alan Kerr. Dineen comes in. He has Ron Sutter glued to him. And Marsh, long pass, one man back, and Sinisalo can't get around. But he drops it to Carson. No penalty there. As play continues, Carson dragged down to the ice. Waiting for it at the red line was Alan Kerr. Kerr, a fourth-round draft pick, to Gillies. Gillies walks in, stopped by Janssen, all alone in front. Janssen unable to get the shot off. And again, their defenseman, this is Crossman lying on his back, diving in this second period. Al Albert along with Gary Green and Al Troutwig bringing you NHL Stanley Cup hockey on USA. The Islanders trailing 2-0 and trailing by 2 goals. So the Islanders with a big attack. 26 shots on net already, but they've been stopped by Lindbergh. Right in front, Mark Howe walks in, and Smith with the save. Sinisalo jumps right on the puck, and so does in front of the Islander net as opposed to in front of the Flyer net. One-on-one, it is Tonelli with McCrimmon. Tonelli cuts to the slot, and it's poke-checked away by Howe. Here's Prop racing with Boudelier. Chops him down to the ice. Sinisalo has Zezel in front. Zezel tipped, and Boudelier stops it. 3 minutes on the nose remaining. Second period, Brent Sutter, the bossy, side of the net. Lindbergh have had enough good shots point blank to be winning this game. Instead, they trail 4-2. Trache right in front. Nobody there that time. Trache keeps it in. Here's Potvin, pulls the trigger. Kick saved by Lindbergh, who was belted by Twain Sutter. Potvin again, and it is blocked. Lindbergh coming way out of the net, and now it is Sutter who is sandwiched by 2, now 3 from that game. It is Potvin, and Lindbergh got a piece of that one. Lindbergh fighting through the screen. Here is Pearson. He has room. Shot. Kicked out by Lindbergh. As you see what Lindbergh's putting behind the kick saves to get the rebounds away from in front of the net. Pearson winds it around. And it is Bob Bourne who takes it off the dasher board. 2-on-2 for the Islanders. Wayne Sutter along with Trache. Trache goes in. His shot. And it's a stick glove save by Lindbergh. He's faced 30 shots in these 2 periods. The Islanders have beaten him just twice. The Flyers have 4 goals on 15 shots. Now an extra 2-minute penalty to Sutter. But now wait a second. They also have a roughing penalty to Brad McCrimmon for 2 minutes. So it's all equal. All right, let's check that scoreboard again. In the third period in Quebec, it is all knotted up at 4-4. What a series that has been. You saw game number 2 in Montreal Sunday night. The Canadians winning it 6-4 to even the series. So the teams will skate even now, 4-on-4. Islanders have taken twice as many shots as the Flyers, 30-15. The Flyers have scored twice as many goals as the Islanders, 4-2. Sinisalo jammed by Potvin. Murray Craven, 32 for the Flyers. Tangles, and we have a whistle and a face-off in the Sutter. And that is Henri Richard, who played at 180 of them. For Potvin tonight, it's 165. And there he is with the puck now, trying to steer away from Ron Sutter. 1 minute, 10 seconds left in the second period of play. Islanders scored the first goal of this game. After 5 minutes, led. It's the only 5 minutes they've led. Janssen, the long shot. Only 5 minutes they've led in the series. 50 seconds left. Tonelli has Janssen at the point. Back to Tonelli. Tonelli covered. Trying to get some room. Side of the net, and he scores! The assist at 19:22. And do the Islanders still have some miracles up their sleeve? They were trailing in this one 4-1, 3 goals behind. They've made 2 of those up and certainly have turned things around for the third period. This one's not over. Bossy fires. Lindbergh has problems with that one, but finally stops it. So Bossy gets his, I believe that's his first shot of the game. And what a bullet. The crowd's aroused. 30 seconds left. The Islanders to within 1.
Didn't take long right off the face-off of center ice. There's Bossy. Wow. Gets away a high one. And that had a curve to it as well. Lindbergh had trouble gloving.
3-goal average. Remember, he lost that 2-1 overtime game in Washington. The second game of that series, he faced 41 shots, lost on a controversial goal. And then he started game 1 against Philadelphia. He was outstanding, although he lost 3-0 as Pelle Lindbergh shut out the Islanders. And Rudy faced 38 shots in that game against Philadelphia. Lindbergh is the guy who should be tired. He faced 27 shots in the second period, 35 throughout the first 2 periods, as the Islanders have hit him now for 3 goals.
Well, what you can say about Lindbergh's performance so far in his game, without question, he let in a bad goal in goal number 1 when Anders Keller just threw the puck out from the corner. But over and above that, other than possibly the Tonelli goal, which he may have been able to get a piece of that puck, Lindbergh really has made a lot of saves in difficult situations with a lot of people in front of him.
Well, remember the last time we were here, last time the Islanders were at home, as the Sutter brothers continue to scrap with one another. Brent, number 21 for the Islanders, and there is Ron Sutter, who has a goal and an assist, who has been excellent, one of the valuable players for the Flyers in this series. Last home game for the Islanders in the playoffs was against Washington when they trailed 4-2 going into the third period and needed a victory to stay alive. And they came up with 4 goals to win that one. Now the Islanders, after trailing 4-1, have scored twice late in the second period and come into this third period trailing by 1, needing this victory. Otherwise, they will fall down 3-0. And what a pressure cooker for Kelly Rudy to step in, knowing he's got to shut the door on the Flyers.
Right now, the Flyers have really got to get some momentum. They've got to test Kelly Rudy.
Tonelli, and he brings Crossman down, and then Tonelli backs Crossman across the shoulders with a stick. Morrow jamming it in along the boards, and we'll have a face-off.
Man up against Tonelli.
Pache dives to try to keep it in, but here comes Sinisato out for the Flyers. He has been flying all night long. Overskates on that one. He was too fast for the puck. Alan Kerr for the Islanders, number 10. And he brings it out, covered by 2 Flyers as Peter Zessel, the Flyer rookie, comes back to get it. Mark Howe for Philadelphia, the veteran who turns 30 years of age in May. Islanders onside, says the linesman. Here's Boudelier on the screen, as Lindbergh just falls, did not see the puck, and did not. Veterans Memorial Coliseum on Long Island, the home of the New York Islanders. Crossman back on the ice after taking that shot. Potvin puts it in front, and Brian Propp lofts it high in the air, almost catches the bottom of the scoreboard. Pearson on the left wing to Gillies, as LaFontaine unable to break in. Wheels in his own zone, right on the stick of Brent Sutter. Bossy, who has been covered throughout tonight's game. And winding it back the other way, Derek Smith. Rudy makes his first save. Cleared out, and chasing back for the Flyers is difference this season. 7-goal scorer in the playoffs in the 5 Philadelphia games coming into this one. Mark Howe sizing up the situation. Brent Sutter lurking in the zone, and the Flyers quickly get it into the Islanders zone. Rudy has trouble with Derek Smith. And it is Howe circling as McCrimmon is dumped by Tonelli. This is Todd Bergen. Great pass to Kerr. The wrist who overskates. And the Flyers boomerang back the other way. It is Pete Zessel. Zessel loses the puck in his skates. And Ken Morrow in front of his own goal clears it out to Kerr. Kerr, the long shot, and that really came in quickly on Lindbergh. Didn't anticipate such a hard shot from Kerr. And the puck is sealed in there. Now some extracurricular activity. Courtgo has been in several, that's his Kerr, the rookie, falling over the Flyer.
And Alan Kerr, a very strong player himself. Speaking of strong players, you're looking at one puck talking to the other, Bryan Trottier, who had an excellent series against Washington. We talk about leadership. I'll tell you, this man got things going. He had a disappointing season for Bryan Trottier. Anyway, it was a disappointing season. He had what he called a lot of nagging injuries. He got out of the way and was ready to play in playoffs. And he knew that in order for the Islanders to be successful, he said, I have got to produce. Well, he did exactly that in series number 1.
A consistent 100-point player. He had 59 points this year in 68 games. And how valuable is it to a team with the young players having Trottier there whispering advice? Propp takes it off the boards. Lead pass for Craven. Potvin. Nystrom is nailed by Dave Brown. And racing back, Propp and Potvin. Here is Nystrom again. Cleared those cobwebs very quickly. Potvin double teamed by Craven and Brown. Two big forwards on top of Potvin. Near steal by LaFontaine, who was envisioning a breakaway. 4 minutes, 10 seconds gone by in the third. Islanders trail the Flyers 4-3 on their home ice. Gillies right in front to Nystrom. Still loose in front, whacking at the puck, and deck was LaFontaine. And now the Flyers with Howe, the long shot. Propp really wheeled nicely to try to keep that alive. And speaking of wheeling, here is Johnson. Islanders offside.
Trying to get open and be effective as well.
Islanders rushing. Brent Sutter with Bossy. Drops it to Bossy. He fires a bullet, but 4 feet too high. Johnson keeps it in at the blue line. And here is Dvorak starting out for the Flyers. Tonelli like a helicopter all over him. At the point, Denis. He slaps it, and it slides wide. Johnson keeps it in. Bossy in the corner, but unable to hold on to the puck. And the Flyers just getting the pressure off. And it's icing against. That's in the second game. He faced 28. Faced 27 shots alone in the second period tonight. Brad Marsh, one of the few remaining helmetless players. They have wanted one there as he takes a shot from the rookie Alan Kerr. And here is Keller picking up speed, trying to elude Tuckett, who takes the man. Marsh eludes Kerr on that one. Morrow quickly gets it back the other way. This is Portko heading in. He has Keller in front. And Montreal and Quebec, it is now tied at 6-6 in the third period. A shootout in Quebec. 4-3 here. The Flyers over the Islanders. Sinisalo. Wayne Sutter taken away by Patterson. And it comes out to Bourne. Wayne Sutter drops it for Bourne, but he's tied up by Silcasalo. The crowd wants a holding penalty. Ron Wicks right on top of the play. Wayne Sutter, the back pass to Potvin. 13 and a half minutes left in period 3. Bryan Trottier goes in. A wall of 4 Flyers were waiting for him. Bourne digging at it. And here comes Philadelphia with Dave Brown leading the attack. Brown fanning out, drops it to Zezel, in front to Brown. Gillies bumps Brown into the boards. And Wayne Sutter clears it all the way out, almost put it in his bench. This will be an icing call against so mean. You see the face of Gillies steaming as he comes to the penalty box.
Well, just as we were going to commercial, and right after, this is what happened. Very meaningless initially, but then Ed Hospodar skated obviously in the wrong direction, and that was towards the New York Islanders bench. Mark Gillies had something to say about that.
Gillies full of frustration. You remember before the whistle, he had taken a check into the boards by Dave Brown of the Flyers. So will
some punching in Hospodar, no doubt.
Thames will skate 5-on-5. Nystrom chasing after Marsh. And Marsh whirls away from that. Morrow slaps it off the boards for Nystrom. Nystrom has 2 goals in the playoffs, matching his regular season output. the dangerous Brian Propp, who has scored a shorthanded goal tonight for Philadelphia. Nystrom takes it off the boards, unable to pick up any steam. And Crossman back the other way. It is Craven, but Kelly Rudy beats him to the puck. Crossman for the Flyers, teamed up with Marsh in the back. Craven ahead to Derek Smith, slapped back the other way. 9 minutes gone by in this third period of play. The Flyers hanging on to a 1-goal lead, trying to make it 3 in a row over the Islanders with Game 4 here in New York on Thursday night. Boudelier takes it off the dasher board, and he cannot get around Kerr. Islanders having problems now getting it into the Flyer zone. Morrow has some ice. And it is shot in by Brent Sutter. Two Islanders chasing after it. They're both tied up, as the Flyers really covering the Islanders in their own zone. Pearson floats it in, and it goes over the glass and into the crowd. 22 games. And Potvin chases back. Islanders coming off the grueling series, the dramatic one over Washington. It has taken the toll on the Islanders coming into this series. But they're showing their best form as Bourne walks in, but hands on the shot. Wayne Sutter keeps it alive. He puts it in front on the screen, and Lindbergh makes sure to put him a piece. Craven clears it ahead to Zessel. Sinisalo tries to put it behind his back. Brent Sutter taken away by Zessel. And Brent Sutter shoots it in. Fossey whacked around by McCrimmon, and waiting for it is Joe Patterson. Patterson, who came along with Murray Craven from Detroit in the trade for Darryl Sittler. Zessel in front. Looking for Patterson there. And Janssen rounds the left. Forecheck by Patterson. Tonelli runs into a Flyer, and it's intercepted with 9:40 left in the third. A wrist shot. What a bullet by Kerr, and Rudy stayed right with it. Brent Sutter takes the look. He knows Bossy is cross ice, but right in front was Janssen. Janssen and Bossy. The drop to Bossy. Returns to Janssen. 4 men on him. And Janssen eludes the check, and two Flyers hit one another.
The Islanders are really having difficulty trying to get an overpowering situation. Everything's 2-on-2 or
Lindsey Carson, and then Morrow stops the Flyer break. This has been the best line out there for the Islanders. The rookies Kortko and Kerr, along with the veteran Keller. And it is picked to Keller. Keller, who opened the scoring in the slot. He's got his shot. Oh, he whistled it wide. That's the best opportunity the Islanders have had here in this third period. And now the Flyers come back. A 3-on-2. Lindsey Carson, he has pocket in front. And now the Islanders a 2-on-1. It is Keller. Amazing how that 2-on-1 completely fell apart.
Well, the Philadelphia Flyers were changing on the go, and it was initially a 2-on-1 until the Flyers got their extra man on the ice.
Here's the steal as Brian Propp playing with the puck, and Potvin skating across the front. Time now running out. 8 minutes, 10 seconds left. Islanders have been stopped here in this third period after their second period assault. Marsh, the tip goes as they trail the Flyers 4-3 in this game, and trailing 2 games to nothing in this best-of-7 series. Bob Bourne shoots it in. Wayne Sutter right in front. Sinisalo checked by Bourne as Trache is dumped in front. Waiting for it is Zessel. Marsh shoots it down, and there is Dennis Potvin for the Islanders. 7 minutes, 20 seconds to go. Wayne Sutter takes it in. Drops it back, but poke checked away by Philadelphia. Crossman to Mark Howe. And Dwayne Sutter back to his defense. The steal nearly by Kerr. Almost a break for the Islanders. Now it is Tonelli coming in, and he can't get the backhand off. And that was onside. And here's a break, and no penalty coming up as Derek Smith was hooked down to the ice. Well, we've gotten to that time of the game, 6 minutes and 42 seconds in the third. It's got to be a good one. Ron Sutter, well, that looked like a pretty good one.
John Tonelli is really tired out there. He could just barely get up off the ice. I don't know where he comes up with his strength at times.
There's a chase for the puck, and this will be an Flyers want to send the man in to talk with Al Proudwood. Here's Kortko behind the net, right in front. Morrow fires, and it's blocked by a sliding Lindsey Carson. The Islanders, who have pulled out so many miracles before, need one right now. Up against the swarming Philadelphia Flyers, the K-line. Here is Kerr. He had Caller busting in front. Now it's a 3-on-2 for the Flyers, led by Mark Howe. Potvin moves it around the boards, and McCrimmon keeps it in. Right on ice level with the Islanders as they bust out. Caller all alone. Look how many Flyers converging around him. 4. Islanders finding little room to breathe, especially when they get into the Philadelphia zone. LaFontaine. LaFontaine. But unable to hold on. Nystrom is in there. And Prop, after Pelle Lindbergh faced 27 shots in the second period, he's faced 3 here in the third. And now Ron Wicks makes the call, and he'll throw 2 players out.
Marsh doesn't want to get into it with Nystrom. Marsh's value right now in these dying minutes of the game is to stay on.
But if he had not come back with a high stick, would the Islanders perhaps have a man advantage right now?
Good question.
Now, there's also questions whether it would have been called in that case. The only penalties here in this third period is the dual penalties. Here are the Islanders. Brent Sutter down to 4.5 minutes to go. Islanders trailing by 1. Great congestion in front of the net. Brent Sutter walks in, and it's blocked by a diving Flyer. It is McCrimmon to himself. Knows that he'll still get another turn at least on the ice with 4 minutes and 17 seconds left. Flyers 4, the Islanders 3.
Trottier and Bossy haven't really been able to spark in tonight's game, but now is when it means the most.
Ron Sutter has been doing a terrific job on Trottier. Plus, he has scored a goal and an assist tonight. Bossy has a man on him, trying to wiggle away from Crossman. Trottier comes in. And it is Prop going down with Trottier. Trottier in desperation, grabbing at the puck. Mark Howe comes in. It's desperation time now for the Islanders. With 3:50 left, they need a goal to tie this game up. Otherwise, they're down 3-0. And in a familiar spot of late, facing elimination. Murray Craven. And Rudy, who has come in this third period to replace Billy Smith and has been flawless in the few attempts. Dvorak carrying in unfamiliar territory for him. Craven was circling in front of the net. And 3 minutes and 10 seconds left in this third period. Here is Potvin, one-on-one with Crossman. Pulls the trigger. What a shot, but not on goal. 3 minutes on the nose remaining in the third. Ilka Sinisalo to Craven. One-on-one the other way. Craven cuts to the slot. Poke checked away by Pearson. But the Flyers get it back. Flyers almost blowing a 4-1 lead. Islanders with 2 goals in the second. Later stages to move to within 1, but the Flyers have been holding that 1-goal lead. They have built a fortress around Pelle Lindbergh in this third period. Marsh winds it around. Pearson shoots it back in. Here is Nystrom digging. And the Flyers bust out. It is Todd Bergen off the screen. And he shoots it off the leg. 2 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the third period. Islanders 3-on-2. LaFontaine fires wide. Earlier it resulted in an Islander goal right off the faceoff. The crowd responding. Islanders trail by 1, and it's cleared out. And now Potvin with Sinisalo chasing, and Rudy has to help out his captain. Prop with 1:50 left. Rudy shortly will be leaving the Islander goal. The Islanders looking for the tying goal. Ron Sutter. And winding it up is Brent Sutter. Tonelli can't get to it. Poke checked away. And breaking in is Prop. Prop's shorthanded goal right now stands as the winning goal for the Flyers if they hold on. 1:25 left. And here is Mr. Prop again. Right in front on the screen, and it is stopped. 1:15 left. The Islanders winding out, and stopped at the point by Prop. Prop fires on the screen, and the save by Rudy. Down to 1:06 left. It is Tonelli reaching back for one more, and it's deflected into the corner. Fossey has Boudelier at the point. 1 minute left in the third. Rudy out of his net. Islanders with the extra attacker. Here is Potvin. Behind the net, Trottier right in front. Bosty, and it just goes wide. 40 seconds left. Sinisalo. He'll shoot for the goal. And there it is.